As you know, my friends, I'm exploring some of my own ideas through large language models, including digital Dharma, and using prompts to explore personal well-being, spiritual intelligence, philosophy, and science. And I'm having quite a bit of fun right now, uh, exploring my own ideas and testing what large language models have to say. So this morning I went on the internet and I asked the following question. I said, Deepak Chopra, in some of his talks on fundamental reality, offers a new equation to describe reality as follows: zero is equal to one, zero is equal to one is equal to infinity. And how could this be interpreted? Um, and can large language models elaborate on this? So here's what I got. Deepak Chopra's equation, zero is equal to one is equal to infinity, can be interpreted as a philosophical statement about the nature of reality rather than a mathematical equation in the traditional sense. Here's a possible interpretation. This is from the large language model. Zero represents nothingness or the void, which in some Eastern philosophies is seen as the source of all existence. One symbolizes unity or the singular nature of consciousness that underlies all of reality. Infinity signifies the endless possibilities and manifestations that arise from this unified consciousness. By equating these concepts, Chopra may be suggesting that the fundamental nature of reality is paradoxical and interconnected. The void, zero, contains within it the potential for everything, which is infinite, and all of existence is ultimately unified in a singular consciousness. The equation aligns with Chopra's views on consciousness as the foundation of reality, challenging materialistic perspectives that consider matter as the primary basis of existence. It reflects his integration of Eastern philosophical concepts with discussions on the nature of reality, emphasizing the role of consciousness in shaping our understanding of the universe. It is important to note that the equation is more of a metaphysical statement than a scientifically verified claim. Why not? Doesn't the singularity contain both zero and infinity? Anyway, then it says, how does Deepak Chopra's equation relate to quantum mechanics? And it goes on to give very complicated answer, but basically it says, that my claims are not mainstream. I tend to use quantum concepts metaphorically and philosophically, combining them with Eastern spirituality, etc. And many physicists and scientists disagree with him. But his ideas are very intriguing from a philosophical perspective. But then it goes on to say, how does Chopra's equation integrate with Vedantic philosophy? Chopra's equation, zero is equal to one is equal to infinity, can be seen as a metaphorical representation of key concepts in Advaita Vedanta philosophy, which forms the core of his teachings. Here is how he integrates. Zero represents Brahman, the ultimate reality in Vedanta, that is without attributes, beyond space and time, and without beginning or end. One symbolizes the non-dual nature of reality, a fundamental principle of Advaita Vedanta, which means not to or non-dualism. Infinity reflects the idea that Brahman manifests as the multi-creation through Maya. Maya is called the matrix, the projection, the fluctuation, the illusion, whatever you want to call it, resulting in endless possibilities and forms. This equation aligns with Vedanta's teaching that pure human awareness is identical to universal consciousness. It suggests that the void or zero, unity or one, and infinite manifestations are all expressions of the same underlying reality. Chopra's interpretation of Vedanta emphasizes direct personal experience and the realization that Atman, individual soul, and Brahman, universal consciousness, are one. The equation can be seen as a concise representation of this non dual perspective where apparent differences are understood as manifestations of a singular underlying spiritual reality that is consciousness. And then actually give some very good photos of my conversations with other physicists, including Nobel laureates and people who I agree with and don't agree with, etc. Also, an explanation of Schrodinger's equation with a Vedantic scholar and a lot of other references. So there you are, my friends. This is how we shall use digital Dharma, AI, to elevate spiritual intelligence. Also understand that I have digital Deepak.ai to further explore these ideas with you in my voice, conversations, so that we can embark on this spiritual adventure together. Let me know your thoughts.